and basically predict what kind of players that they will pick based on past experiences and some data that we have. It might not be accurate, but I think it'll be fun. Don, how are
Probably
you doing?
won't be accurate at all, but just fun for the sake of it.
Yeah, for sure. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm looking forward to this. This is the most exciting time of the year for me.
Yeah.
The IPL auctions is probably going to be the last time there's going to be a big auction. So like my mind has just been talking numbers. It's been talking players.
Yeah.
I'm probably way off the ball, but I have a predicted 11, which is just fun for my own personal thing. I just like to see team balances. I just like to see how it is. I've tried to be extremely fair to all the teams. I have not given Sunrisers all top 11 players. I've been unfair with them as well. I have been tried to be fair with all teams. Just kind of, I've just done some simulations, and it's just fun to kind of bring out a team that will hopefully be a good balance and a good mix of foreign and Indian players.
Yeah, 100%. You're very good with the data as well, and I felt that there are some really interesting picks that you had. So we will discuss them on each episode. But today we'll talk about the Mumbai Indians. We've seen the Netflix documentary, so we have an kind of an idea of the way they approach things. If you look at their strategies, they look at big Indian players, whether it was Hardik Pandya in the past or now it's the Bumrah, Rohit Sharma. I mean, Rohit Sharma for the past few years, the way they've backed him. Before that, it was Sachin Tendulkar. So they spend the big bucks on their Indian core, and then after that, they get a couple of foreigners. They have Pollard now already, and they have a set pace. Their purse is not the biggest, but because of it's Mumbai Indians, a lot of people want to go there, and because it's a big auction, they're very smart and where they're going to spend their money, and I think they'll be well prepared going into this auction. One thing that we've seen in the past, they haven't picked like the biggest spinners. I know Harbhajan has played for them for sure, but like apart from that, they had Chahal before, but those peak spinners they haven't really spent too much more focus on fast bowling like a Malinga. Then you have a Bumrah. Previously Zahir Khan was there, so a lot of emphasis on fast bowling, death bowling, and with the new ball and with the bat, it's about that Indian contingent in the top order and middle order. I think also so initially Mumbai Indians the first 2-3 years they weren't that successful. Their formula wasn't successful, and that's where I felt that they decided let's go with a bigger Indian core and invest more money there.
Yeah, I think I agree 100%. And their attentions speak for itself. They have three players who play for India consistently now in Rohit Sharma, Jasprit Bumrah, and Surya Kumar Yadav, and then they have their talisman in Pollard, who's a proper all rounder for them. If you notice, I mean, I think a lot of talk has been about the retentions, and we spoke about when it initially came out as well. I think one piece of fantastic business by Mumbai Indians was to retain Jasprit Bumrah at 12, because I think his market value is more than that for sure. But I think for Bumrah to accept and just to be, I think he was happy with the Mumbai Indian setup, and for him to accept that, and he knew Rohit Sharma was a bigger player than he is, I guess, so to say. But I think just to kind of accept that, and for Mumbai Indians to pin him down was fantastic. And I think they have a top order batsman, a middle order batsman in Surya Kumar. They have a finisher in Pollard, and then they have a fantastic bowler in Bumrah. So they have a lot of bases covered. Yes, they don't have the biggest budget, and that's why I've given them about two fantastic buys. And then I've given them a few buys that, and in my opinion, that they'll go for these big players in two players. And then I've given them a couple of kind of the under the radar kind of players that will actually fill their team. And then of course there's going to be a lot of money that they'll spend on the squad as well, which has kind of been their way of doing things. They have to fill a 25 people squad, so we have to remember that. So my ideology behind Mumbai Indians or almost all the other teams is to focus on the balance one, and to give every player two, maybe three, depending on if you have a little bit more of a budget, kind of those impact buys, in my opinion. And then just to kind of round the team off with four foreigners and 7 Indians. That has kind of been my go-to for the teams.
Yeah, 100%. And they've been the most successful team in IPL history, and recently they've been winning trophies left, right, and center. Last season wasn't the most impressive for them, but let's go with what you think the ideal, what kind of approach they will take this time around, and just give us some ideas of who you think they will buy. I also have some opinions there. They do have some players like Quinton de Kock and Ishan Kishan who are going back in the auction. Do you think they will go for those guys again, or will they go a completely different route in terms of personnel? It might be the same strategy, but a different type of personnel.
And like I said, I mean, it's almost impossible. I've just done a simulation of this. This is I think almost all these players that I will say will probably not be in the Mumbai Indian squad, but it's just to kind of create a balance and kind of just my thought process behind. And the way I put it, I haven't taken any of these under 19 players. I haven't taken any of the players that haven't gotten bids in the past. What I have just done is I have set up a list of 121 players that have had bids in the past, that have had some kind of success in the IPL before, and those are the players that I've kind of gone with. So it's obvious that there'll be a lot more differences and a lot more nuances. But the team that I have gone with for Mumbai is uh, the big buys for Mumbai Indians. I think will be Devdutt Padikkal. I think that they've always had Rohit Sharma, but I think to uh, kind of had an add-on and to look at the future, I think Devdutt Padikkal is probably what their player will be, and I think he'll go for a lot of money. So I think that they will be going for Devdutt Padikkal, and their second big buy will be a kind of a replacement for the Pandya brothers, would be a Shah Rukh Khan. I think that's kind of how they'll probably focus on these two players, because they have only a 47 crore budget and they have to fill a 25 men squad. So these will probably be their win. And the third player will be there. They'll probably go for another Indian fast bowler. And in my opinion, that'll probably be a Natarajan who can give you those death bowling overs as an option, because he will also be an expensive buy. And then they'll probably go for a few under the radar bets, for example, like a Devon Conway who'll wicket keep for you and kind of help your middle order. And then they'll go for like someone like a Tabre Shamsi, who's a proper spin bowler in the T20 format. He's really come up the ranks, and he fills that spinner void that they have. And then they'll go for like someone like a Krishnappa Gautam to kind of add to the finishing capabilities of a Shah Rukh Khan and a Pollard. So that's kind of how I've gone with this team. So my team is Padikkal, Rohit Sharma, Surya Kumar, Devon Conway, Shah Rukh Khan, Kieran Pollard, Krishnappa Gautam. Then we have the Tabre Shamsi. Then we have Bumrah, Nattu, and of course, sorry, I forgot. It was given for me, but my final player will be Trent Bolt, because I think they love the Bumrah and Bolt combination, and I think they'll go back in the auction for it. I think Ishan Kishan will be a little bit too expensive for them to come back, because I think 15, 16 crores on a player might be a little difficult because
You
of
said
their
47 crores, so that is like almost 15 crore less than Punjab.
exactly.
That's a lot of money.
That's a
So
lot less than Punjab. It's 15
yeah.
CR less than
Even
Punjab. So it's
Sunrisers have what? They have the second highest price, which is
yeah,
around what, 60,
68. That's about 20
68.
crores more. So Punjab has 25 more. So it's a little hard to compete with
Wow.
that. So
Yeah.
I still think that this is also I've given them three very big players in Padikkal, Shah Rukh Khan, and Bolt. It might not happen. All three might not happen. They might have to go in uh, for a little bit of a different approach. But I'm just also thinking about the balance of teams and stuff like that. I've tried to be fair to all teams. It's almost impossible for me to think of Mumbai Indians having a bad auction. So I've tried to give them the benefit of the doubt. In our future podcasts, when we do, you'll see that my struggle with Punjab has been their problem as well, in terms of trying to pick the ideal players and stuff like that. So those kind of challenges will come. If any of the fans watchers, they probably won't like the predictions we make, but I think at this point in time is just to try to keep the balance. And I think that the Bolt and Bumrah combination has worked. It's been lethal for them. I think they'll continue to do that. I think they'll look for a top class opener in Padikkal, who will really help Rohit Sharma, just kind of give them that blistering starts that they used to. And then the finisher that they miss out in the Pandya brothers, I think that will be taken care of by Shah Rukh Khan for that matter.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
my
because
opinion.
if you look at it, like, if you're going to compete with the people with a bigger purse, it's difficult to go for the likes of, there's a lot of talk that Shreyas Iyer will go to Mumbai, but unless there's this pre-plan
Difficult.
where that, listen, no one else bid for him, Mumbai are getting him, unless there's a thing like that, which I don't think there is,
Yeah.
then it's very difficult to hold back on these kind of buys. That's where Mumbai will have a problem. So I think buys like these, like a Shah Rukh Khan, like a Padikkal, are under the radar, but they already have the star players. They have the Bumrahs, they have the Rohit Sharma, so that's just adding to that.
I agree. I think that's what they will look for. And Padikkal and Shah Rukh Khan will also cost you, in my opinion, close to 15, 20 CR together. So that's half your budget gone on them, right? So then you have
Yeah.
you have to start being very, and that's why I think someone like a Tabre Shamsi, Krishnappa Gautam, Natarajan, who will probably be a little bit lesser expensive, will probably fill your 11s. And then, of course, you'll have a lot more players that you can look for and buy to fill your complete fill your complete squad of 25 players.
Who's going to be their next Rohit Sharma? Because Rohit Sharma was groomed. First
Padikkal.
of all, he was stolen from Deccan Chargers. He won a championship there first. Before Mumbai, he won in Hyderabad. But then, they groomed him properly, like, under Sachin Tendulkar. So who's going to be
And that's why I've given them two youngsters in Padikkal and Shah Rukh Khan. I think both of them will probably be groomed into, and maybe Padikkal, if he has the tenacity, probably the next captain as well in the future, long term.
Yeah, Punter Singh, Akash Chopra tweeted RCB has 20 crore purse for a year, so no chance Mumbai getting him. And I think that's going to be the case for a year.
Someone like a Bangalore and a Punjab and KKR. I think these will probably go for a year for the big monies on that. Because they need captains.
Vinay is asking, what about Sam Billings instead of Conway?
That's a good shout. Very good shout.
This is not like, don't assume that this is the team that they're going to buy.
The only reason...
Because the main thing that you're looking at is the money that has already been spent, right?
Correct.
So you can't just go and get the Kishan and everyone back, Dickok and all these guys.
Yeah. And for me, it's important of balance, and I've tried to keep every player in the position that they will play for in their usual side. So Sam Billings is more like a 5-6, and I think 5-6 they already have a Shah Rukh Khan and a Pollard. And I think Conway plays at 4 for New Zealand. I've tried to keep them true to their original positions. Of course, there have been a few things up and down that have happened in the course of the other teams and stuff like that. But I think one of the simulations that I'm proud of has been the Mumbai Indians simulation. I think the team came out pretty well. I was pretty happy with it. I didn't do too many changes with the Mumbai.
Who is your third seamer?
Nattu.
Natarajan.
Yeah. So I have bowled Bumrah and Nattu, and then they have the likes of Shamsi, who's a very good bowler. So they're a very good bowling unit.
Left-hand heavy though.
Huh?
Left-hand heavy.
Oh yeah, because they are spinners and Bolt and Nattu. But I think Nattu and Bolt are different kind of left-handers. I think Nattu is more the death over, and you can use Bolt for 3 overs up top if needed, and you can bring him in the middle, and then you can finish off with Bumrah and Nattu in your final overs. Shamsi will give you overs in the middle. Then the likes of Pollard and Gautam and Shah Rukh Khan can be your fifth bowling option.
Finishing Surya. yeah, he's there, bro, in the team. He's there.
He's there, number 3, Surya Kumar. Yeah.
Number 3. Surya Kumar. Yeah, that's interesting. And your keeper is Conway.
Yes, that's the only thing that I feel like it's probably not but like I said, you can't get 100.
That's where like Sam Billings could
probably make that.
But you can still go with both the players, because I don't think they'll both be too expensive. So you can have 2 foreign players.
Correct. I think I have. In one of my other simulations, I think I have a Sam Billings somewhere. I have to check it out, but I think I already have a Sam Billings in some other team.
Chahal coming back to Mumbai, Punter is saying.
That's an option. That's definitely a very good option as well.
It's an option, but again, it depends on the purse.
Exactly. And then if you are already spending about 15-20 CR on Padikkal and Shah Rukh Khan, then it becomes almost impossible to spend another 10-12 on Chahal. That's going to be your challenge.
So if you're going for Chahal, then you don't get
then you don't get either Padikkal or a Shah Rukh Khan. So it depends on what you want to go for.
What you want from that side of things. So it just depends where you want to invest.
Because I feel like, from what I know, Mumbai Indians, I think they're happy with their impact players. They're going to look for players that they can really develop in the next few years. And a Padikkal and Shah Rukh Khan is one of the best young talents out there right now.
Yeah, 100%. And they haven't really gone, there's a lot of talk that Rashid Khan will also go to Mumbai. There's a lot of talk, but they haven't really spent too much on spinners in that way. They'll always get these guys try to fit the piece somewhere. They got Rahul Chahar and they won the IPL in that side, on that side.
And in my opinion, Shamsi is an upgrade for them in the spinning department, because I think getting Indian spinners is difficult. So I think for me in that department, I think that Tabriz Shamsi is an upgrade for them.
Someone like a Washington Sundar, we saw them, back Jayant Yadav a lot. So someone like a Washington Sundar, do you think?
I've gone with Gautam, because I think again Sundar will be an expensive buy, because a lot of teams will be looking for a finisher like Sundar. That's why I've given them Krishnappa Gautam, because he's I guess he's not that level 1, level A kind of an all-rounder, but he's a level B all-rounder, and he's gone for 9-10 CR in the past with Chennai and not really played that much. And I think he's a very handy all-rounder. And like I said, these are just some options. And on the basis of a very, very data-oriented simulation, this is what the team has come out with. I've just made 1 or 2 real small, minute changes at this point in time.
My biggest question of the day for this topic is, are they going to retain Arjun Tendulkar?
That's already written. I wrote 11 and then 25th player Arjun Tendulkar.
Is they going there for sure? Huh? He's gonna go to Mumbai Indians for sure. But yeah, and also watch out for the under-19 players. I'm sure Mumbai Indians will. They have an
100% is.
excellent scouting system.
I haven't included any of those players in my team as well,
Yeah,
in
they
my
have an excellent
simulations.
scouting system from that side of things. Also, they're not afraid. Like in between, there's going to be a time where trades will open, I think, and we saw Surya Kumar go from KKR there to there. They're not afraid to take players from other teams as well from that side. So you will
Yeah.
see things in the future
Yeah.
from that thing. But in this auction, I don't know how it works, but I just feel that unless because look, everyone's going to spend money, but there are certain players they just won't be able to go for. The
Correct.
rest, I'm sure, they'll be smart about it. If they can raise prices, suppose they don't want Shreyas Iyer, right? They don't want him. They just raise his price so much that that person cannot go for a Chahal or a Patikal, and then they can
Exactly.
grab that player. Basically, that's what Mumbai will do. I think they will have to
And they are
be.
smart about that. They've done it in the past, especially with like someone like a Punjab or something. They've always messed around with him. Nita Ambani will have that set up like this. She'll sit down like that without even putting it down for a period of time, and then all the other teams will keep thinking and talking. She'll just hold this and sit like that, and then suddenly she'll just be out. And then your price is already raised so much, and then you're screwed. And you're like, oh shit, player aa gaya. So it's just a lot of things will depend on which player comes out, and they have to remember. Like for example, we've talked a lot about this. Ishan Kishan is going to be the 32nd odd kind of player that's going to come on. So a lot of people who want Ishan Kishan in your team will have to keep that 15-20 CR
And if you don't
budget.
wait, then Mumbai will go for him. That's the problem.
That's what I'm saying. That's the biggest problem. And Mumbai can still get an Ishan Kishan. This is, like I said, on the basis of a very basic simulation that I've done. There's a lot of permutations and combinations that happen on the day that could completely change things around.
They're very smart and very experienced Purani Khiladi in the auction. So I think they'll have tricks up their bags from that side of things.
100%. I think they'll be the most prepared. I think they've always been very prepared bunch, and they'll be very data oriented. They'll have plan A to Z ready, and they'll know exactly what to do. They'll be on the phones with everyone.
And they don't need to go too lavish. Like we said, they already have a solid 4 players.
Wait,
so
I think not Tina Ambani. I think Akash Ambani will sit in the sorry, not Tina.
The documentary shows that the owners are heavily involved. So I don't know if that will add to the pressure or the confusion, but it seems to be working for them. So who are we to say anything, from that side of things? Van der Dusen in Mumbai.
That's another very good shout. It's just like I said. I think
reserve that for your team.
I have him in the Sunrisers team. Yes, but I did simulations for all teams, but Sunrisers I did manually. So I have like some love over there. But I've been very fair to them. You have to be fair to me. When you see the team, you'll understand. I haven't gone all out to the Sunrisers team. I've just given them 2-3 very big players, and then I've given them some players that will go under the radar and stuff like that. So
well, apparently it's Tina Ambani. Not Nita. Nita Ambani is the other wife, I think.
Tina Ambani. अरे वही छरे भाई जो भी है बड़े लोग हैं नामा भी याद नहीं रहते हमारे.
Why do you think Ishan Kishan is coming on 32? I think it's because of the category of wicketkeeper.
The category, yes.
Yeah.
So apparently, I'm very surprised he's not in the top 10 category, because the way the categories work, it'll depend on which category comes out first. But I think that they go with the M category first, then they go with a bunch of bowlers, then they go with a bunch of all-rounders, and that's how they've categorized on the basis of the template that they've sent out.
Would it be fishy for you if Mumbai Indians do get him?
I would not be surprised. Maybe that's the reason it's there at 32, because everyone else spent 30 players pay. Everyone has spent like crores and crores of rupees. Now suddenly only Mumbai has the budget to be able to put in a 15 crores for a Ishan Kishan. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. And it might, for all you know, it might happen. Like my simulation didn't bring him in that team. My simulation also, I have Ishan Kishan in Sunrisers, so it's again unfair. But just something that I will.
Don't give any more spoilers. This is going to be fun.
Sunrisers, but I've been relatively fair to all the others.
Don't give any more spoilers. This is going to be fun. As long as you don't have Shreyas Iyer, right, in the Sunrisers.
No. How can you afford? How there's no impossible to afford.
Anything can happen.
Sundar and Kishan are my impact buys, bro.
Oh my God. But yeah, I think it is a possibility. Honestly, if he was in the top 10, I think Sunrisers would have gone for him or Shreyas Iyer, because they have the second biggest purse. If you're just looking at it from logically, right? Yeah. So it makes sense. But with this 32 thing, it makes everything confusing. So, and Mumbai Indians, like you said, they're always playing tricks. So you don't know what's going to happen in that side of things. For you, who's going to be one surprise signing for Mumbai Indians and one marquee? It doesn't need to be your simulation, just in general.
So
Or
the
it could be
surprise.
your simulation as well.
I
Like, I
think
mean, it's,
I think the marquee signing will continue to be Shah Rukh Khan. I think he'll go upwards of 8-10 CR. I think he will be
hmm.
their marquee signing because they have to replace a Pandya, and that he's probably the best player out there to replace a finisher and the person who can give you a few overs with the ball as well. I think he fits that bill well. And then I think that'll be marquee, and I think a surprise signing will probably be someone like a Sam Billings, who will probably be under the radar, and he'll probably give you that wicket keeping option because a lot of wicket keepers are in demand. So about 6 teams need wicket keepers at this point in time out of the 10, right? So that gives you a lot of wicket keeping options that you need to worry about. So someone like a Sam Billings will probably that's why I gave them Conway, because Conway and Billings will probably not be too much of a budget. They'll probably come in 5-6 CR, and you have a good core of middle order wicket keepers that you can really use, and whichever works for you then.
Yeah, I would just like to say, like, I really like the way that you brought it out. It might not be the same thing; it might be completely different, but the system is good. Like, you're looking at an all rounder, you're looking at a finisher, you're looking at the opener with Rohit Sharma, which is a particle in your thing. With Bumrah, you have Bolt again, and you have a Natarajan, you have a spinner there as well. So I really like the way that you've brought
I've
it
tried
up.
to keep the balance. I've tried to be true to the balance for all the 10 teams. Maybe 1 or 2 teams will not be very happy with
Yeah,
my
and also
decisions,
then
but
you have to consider squad depth and everything. There's going to be teams which might go with the deeper squad, so that means maybe the playing 11 won't be as strong, but they have a stronger squad, so they'll have
yeah,
more of the similar
chopping and
players.
changing. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you'll have other teams who will just have a very strong 11, and the squad is not as strong. So you have to take that into consideration. Vinay saying, no, Partner saying, you're talking like an SRH fan. Mumbai will do completely opposite. Is it in me or you? I don't know,
I
but yeah,
agree. No, I agree. I 100%
yeah,
agree with that.
yeah.
Punter is a Mumbai fan, no, so he
The
might
only
not be
thing
very
is,
happy.
but the only reason why I'm agreeing with you, there's two reasons. One, I'm also a Sunrisers fan, but also it's just the press doesn't allow these things. It doesn't allow. If this is you're going from scratch. If you everybody has the same press, Mumbai Indians picking up everyone. I'm
Yeah,
telling
yeah,
you from now.
100%, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, but I just feel that this is a similar, according to the press we're saying. Now, if Ishan Kishan, if everyone overspends, if Mumbai do other smart things where they raise the bar for somebody else that they don't want, and someone else gets them and they run out of the race for Ishan Kishan, then it's something different. We can't really do much about it.
Yeah, like I said, I think I've looked at impact buys. I've looked at squad
If you
depth.
look
I've
at
looked
the
at
paper
balance.
from the players available, if you look on the paper, Punjab, Sunrisers, and then I don't know if it's RCB who's the third or fourth.
Third.
They should be getting these big the top 10. They should
Yeah.
be getting the top 10, right? But like we said, there's still 10 players, so Mumbai will also have a hand in everything. It's going to be fun, but because there's such a big difference, it's almost 20 crores between Punjab and Mumbai.
Yeah.
So from that side of things, what you're saying makes sense from my point of view.
Yeah, let's see how it goes. Yeah, I would like to apologize to Punter. I have no hard feelings against Mumbai. I think Mumbai is a fantastic team, and they'll probably be the best again auction. They'll probably have the
I
best
have
auction
against
out
Mumbai. They
there.
keep winning, bro. It's enough, man. How much more do you want to win?
But I think
Vinay,
they just trying to keep the balance of the team ready.
yeah, and to be very, very honest with you, they already have the base.
Yeah,
They have the best foundation right now, right? It's just four players, but it's a big four players,
yeah,
and
yeah.
now it's just adding different players, adding those, the small tweaks, the pieces to the puzzle, and from there they can move on. Vinay is saying, I feel Don will be biased with Delhi.
Why is there a Delhi fan? I've not
Vinay is a
really.
multiple. Vinay is from Delhi, but he's also from Chennai. So he's like you. You're half from Chennai, half from Sunrisers. The difference is he does like Chennai. You don't, I think.
Bro, I've given Delhi Mitch Marsh and Livingston. Just spoiler alert. I've given a spoiler
Oh,
alert there.
yeah, but no hard feelings, of course, man. No hard feelings, but we don't want Mumbai. I don't want Mumbai, man. But to be honest, you guys have a great team, the best team right now in the IPL. We have to say that, and that's the reason I probably don't want them. But in auction wise, you can't really, mess with Mumbai. But at the end of the day, it also depends on your luck and how the players perform. You can pick a player for like who knew Venkatesh Iyer is going to take kick out in the finals, right?
Right,
And
right.
we
Yeah.
spent so much on Manish
And
Pandey and
suddenly he's retained also for six
Venkatesh
crores and stuff. So
yeah.
unreal.
So yeah, you need a bit of luck there and everything. It doesn't mean that if you have the best auction that you'll have the best team. Like it does a lot of things. I thought that Hyderabad had the best auction in the first season with Afridi and all these guys,
Yeah.
and they turned out to be the worst team.
Yep.
But yeah, I think that wraps it up. Don, thank you so much for joining me. We will go through the next few teams as well as soon as we can. And yeah, it was a fun chat, and really good thinking there as well. It might not be the same, but I just liked your process, like I said.
Yep, looking forward to some of the
Take care,
others as
man.
well.
Take care. Thank you, Punter. Thank you, Vinay, for joining us again.
Thank you,
Great stuff.
guys.
Take care.